All right, everyone, welcome to an extra special episode of the GM's Movie Review Club, because we're going to be talking about a very special movie that has come out here in the summer of 2025, and that is K-pop Demon Hunters. And I have some game masters with me who agree that this is the movie of the summer and perhaps the gaming moment of the summer, because this is an excellent movie that has all kinds of interesting fantasy elements and all kinds of paranormal elements and all kinds of great storytelling elements, and all the songs are bangers. So we're going to jump in and we're going to introduce two game masters with us tonight. They're going to talk to us about who their favorite character is in the K-pop Demon Hunter movie. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how we can use the K-pop demon sensation in your tabletop role-playing game. And we're going to start with Karen. Karen, are you ready to tell us who your favorite character in K-pop Demon Hunters is?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I am going to have to say Rumi is my favorite. I have always been solidly behind the chosen one in pretty much anything, from when I was a child and it was Luke Skywalker when I was 3 years old, through Buffy, etc. I always very much identify with the people that have to go through a lot of garbage to save the world.
And are you a firstborn child?
Yes, I am. How'd you guess?
Okay. Just a shot in the dark there.
Firstborn daughter syndrome, man.
Here we go. Marshall, I believe you have a controversial choice for your character.
I do, because I'm going to go with the Saja boy of Genu.
Oh, wow.
I felt like his arc was really surprisingly well done in this movie for what a standard character he was. But the way that they managed to balance his I sold my soul for fame and riches, and now I regret it, I felt it in this movie. And so he's my favorite.
Okay, awesome. My name is Eric Jackson. I'm the host of the podcast, and I think that I would normally just immediately agree with Karen because I am also a firstborn child.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it's not just a demon hunter, I'm going to have to pick the cat.
Derpy, man.
Oh, interesting.
Derpy the cat absolutely steals every scene he's in. He is the secret sauce. Him and Bobby are the two secret things that make K-pop Demon Hunters work.
I love Bobby.
Bobby is amazing.
Bobby is fantastic. I feel that in any other movie, Bobby would be the comic relief, and he's not. Or like the butt of the joke comic relief, and he absolutely is not.
Yeah, I mean, he's funny, but he is solidly their manager and solidly supporting his girls and is doing a great job and completely unaware of everything else. But he's still like, doesn't matter. Oh, okay, we're talking about demons. I like the energy, and it just goes with it. So yeah, Bobby and Derpy the cat are going to be my two choices. I'm going to get them both in there. All right, but let's talk about what the people are really here to hear about. Let's talk about if you, as a game master, were approached by a group of people and said, "Look, I saw K-pop Demon Hunters, and we need to run a tabletop role-playing game based on K-pop Demon Hunters. What system would you pick and why?" Marshall, do you want to lead us off on this fabulous journey?
All right, I'm going to dig way back to one that I really like. It is Truth and Justice by Atomic Sock Monkey Press. Uses the PDQ system. I really think that it works because the PDQ is based on just picking qualities that you have a very simple scale on. It is an extremely simple system that is very narrative based. And one of the things I found is that when they draw their weapons, they win. There's never any question about whether or not they're going to win the combat. So the combat doesn't matter. It's the interpersonal stuff. It's who they are that matters. And so I definitely want a very narrative, fairly light system to do that.
And you said that was the PDQ system? Did I miss that? What does that stand for?
Yes, prose descriptive qualities.
Okay, There we go. I had not heard of that system, so that's why I was like, I need to know.
The basics is free on Drive-Thru RPG. If you look under Atomic Sock Monkey. And then I picked Truth and Justice, which is their superhero setting for it, just because you want to have powers and do that kind of stuff.
All right. I'm going to jump in for a second and chime in for Colleen, who gave us a list of things. And one of the things she gave us a list of was Girl by Moonlight, which is a magical girl-based TTRPG. I did a quick lookup on that, and that system has actions like, these are the actions that your characters can take that are defined within the RPG system. You can confess, forgive, perceive, express, defy, conceal, flow, and analyze. And like these are the actions that are listed in the game. And all of those were like, yep, I can see that. Yep, I can see that. That is totally a K-pop Demon Hunter kind of game. So I would say Colleen's got it for Girl by Moonlight. A great option from her.
That sounds perfect.
Karen, do you want to tell us about your option?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, that does sound, actually, both of those sound perfect. I picked Masks. It's the same system as Monster Hearts, but it's a superhero game. I've played Monster Hearts. I haven't played Masks, but this is pretty much a perfect matchup because it's superheroes and it's kind of got that mandatory young adult teenage drama type stuff in there. Any game that involves a bunch of young people being given the opportunity to make dumb decisions to enhance the story, it's one of my favorite things, and that works perfectly here. One of the character drives, I was like briefly looking through the character sheets for like all their different playbooks. There's something literally in there that you check off a bunch of different drives, and one of them is kiss someone dangerous, which
Nice.
Sort of works exactly right. We started a house rule based on this system for a game years ago where we were doing sort of like a Buffy spinoff, which is if you purposefully do not tell your friends or teachers or anyone in authority some problem or horrible thing that's going on, you get extra bonuses, which kind of like fuels things for that very much WB teenage show kind of thing. And I think that works perfectly for this because especially, Rumi and whatnot, keeping all her secrets, etc.
One of the taglines for Masks, the new generation is superheroes trying to be teens and teens trying to be superheroes. And I was like, yes! This is perfect. I will mention that Rob Tremarco, who could not be here with us tonight, did say that he would probably like to run the various mystical heroes through the Marvel Multiverse RPG, but his real goal was to use Daggerheart to play with whatever the 80s version the Demon Hunter musical group was and have a big finale at the first MTV Awards, which featured Bette Midler and Dan Aykroyd.
Wow.
And that was the most Rob answer he could have possibly come up with, so I had to include that. That was on the list of things. For me, I would do Thirsty Sword Lesbians. This is a kind of like a Powered by the Apocalypse playbook kind of thing, and they've got the Chosen and the Devotee, and there are aspects of both of those playbooks I'd probably mix in to make the perfect K-pop Demon Hunter. But there was also another game called Heartbeats in Perfect Sync. This game is very simple, not a lot of crunch, very storytelling oriented, and the game itself is about having an app, and that app allows you to track the music of the world. And sometimes you can get overcharged with your emotion, and sometimes you can get undercharged with emotion based on the music. And that can lead to heartbreak, either if you have too much emotion or too little emotion. And I was like, oh my God, that system right there sounded, yes, that sounds very K-pop Demon Hunter-y. Anybody else have any other mechanics?
Nah, I'm all good. Though those are all excellent suggestions and a bunch of games I haven't played.
One more, if you wanted to go the opposite of what Marshall said, and I forget who it's from, but I got a recommendation for Kamigakari God Hunters. It is a JRPG tabletop, and apparently it is the opposite of what Marshall's talking about because it is all about superheroes punching each other. It's very crunchy. If you just like the fight scenes from K-pop Demon Hunters, that would be the one you would play. But I just wanted to throw that in, mostly because, again, another game system I've never heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
All right, Karen,
Yeah.
we're going to move to takeaways for your game. What are some things that you would absolutely love to do, would love to steal and borrow and bring right out of the K-pop Demon Hunters universe and put into your regular tabletop role-playing game?
All right. Well, if I were to play in the K-pop Demon Hunters universe, I 1000% would love to explore all the previous time periods hunters. They show, in that opening montage, they show the girls from like the girl groups from the 20s, the 40s, 60s, and like 90s or early 2000s, and the original hunters. So there's a huge gap of like 300 years between that too. I feel it'd be fun to pick whatever decade people would want to explore and make, their girl group around that to fight demons and whatnot. Also, thinking about it, is this only a Korean thing? Are these demons just specifically attacking Korea? Because if not, it would be also really fun to explore other countries' music stars. Like you can have sort of a Bollywood group, or you could do something that's like early hip hop from the late 70s in the bombed out disaster that the Bronx was. I feel there's so many different areas that you can explore that way. Or, the MTV Awards with Bette Midler and Dan Aykroyd.
Absolutely.
Also,
Yep.
just to add on, because as you said, derpy, absolutely amazing. I love anything that involves sort of like spirits and ghosts and whatnot. So anything that would involve bringing in like other different types of spirit animals, creatures, yokai, whatever from Japan, etc., I think is always a fun extra thing. Who doesn't love a pet?
Yeah, who doesn't love a derpy little pet? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Marshall, now to you. Is there something that you would like to absolutely bring from the K-pop Demon Hunter universe into your role-playing game?
I have for years now wanted to do the game where you are adventurers who are also performers, either a bard troupe in D&D or a rock group in modern day. I actually ran a campaign for my wife for a while where she was special security for, if anybody knows Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates, or some of those similar mysteries at the museums, the discovery shows where they go into ruins and look for ancient artifacts. She was there in order to make sure that the artifacts did not actually activate and do things. That's getting a little off a tangent. Just something where your day job is being performers and then your night job is being awesome.
That does sound pretty cool. So for me, I love the idea of the Hanmoon. I love the idea that music saves the world. I think that's fantastic. I think that's one of the really great themes that you could steal for anything. Just to answer your desire to play an all-bard game, I have several all-bard games at cons, mostly at Total Con, but the one that I think is the closest is I did a Starfinder game where it was the Josie and the Pussycats in outer space game, and the character had to rescue Josie and the Pussycats during their performance with the space goblins, and it was fantastic. But I love the idea of the Hanmoon and that music saves the world. And I love the idea that the demon marks are right there and they show and they increase with shame. And so I think both of those concepts can be easily transported into any other role-playing context. I think both of those make for great storytelling.
Yeah, def.
All right. Okay, now we can get to it.
Okay.
Now I can get to it. Marshall,
Tell
I've
us.
been waiting too long. I can't hold back. Marshall, you need to tell us. Now we're gonna do media recommendations. But world, Marshall needs your help. He has a problem. He needs to know something, and you can help us. So for the first time ever on any Game Masters Book Club episode, I'm gonna solicit the audience for help. Every other time it's been like, here we are, we're distributing knowledge, aren't we great? But no. This time we do not have an answer. Marshall, what is the question?
So when thinking about related media, I have this tiny clip in my head of an animated movie. It would have been probably from the early 90s. There is a female singer who has gotten beaten down, and then she finds the magic and the music within herself and sings a song and drives back the shadowy evil.
And it's animated.
She's blonde. Yeah, it is animated. She's blonde and pretty generic looking. I'm fairly certain that she has a sort of pink and black aesthetic to her. And it is not Gem. Gem was mentioned in some of our discussions before. The villain is it's like depression is the villain, in the same way that in Fern Gully you have the toxic love, whatever his name was, Hexus. It is that kind of villain where it's just, the whole world has ennui or something, and she's fighting it with the power of her song. But I cannot get more than about a 5 to 10 second clip in my head, so I do not know what movie this is.
We previously discussed that it is also not Rock and Rule, which is a great recommendation and a similar piece of media from the 80s, but it is not Rock and Rule as well, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we know it's not rock and roll. Okay, folks, looking for your comments on this one. Please help Marshall save his aging brain and allow him to relive his youth and know who this particular singer is. Karen, did you have media to recommend?
I do. I have a few.
Okay, great.
First thing that came to me is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I can't imagine anyone in our age group hasn't seen it, but maybe there's some young people listening who haven't, or watch it again. I feel it's got that chosen one with overwhelming expectations, a parent who doesn't understand and is kind of a dick for a while, found family, and it is also, of course, my absolute OG enemies to lovers show, and K-pop Demon Hunters definitely has a lot of that with Rumi and Gino. Also, I'd recommend Demon Slayer, either the anime or the manga. It's got, fighting demons, obviously, but it's also got some really awesome sad demon backstories. And on top of all that, K-pop Demon Hunters does costuming and color so unbelievably well, just from like the regular costumes to incorporating like the Saja Boys patterns into their outfits subtly, all the sort of color signaling. And Demon Slayer, the anime, has amazing art, especially all the individualized kimono patterns that are in that. So I would check that out if you haven't. And then when it comes to book, I thought of, this has nothing to do with singing or K-pop or anything like that, but the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. It's set in medieval Russia. It explores really similar themes. It's got fighting demons that are tangible, but that are also fueled by sort of very real human hatred and insecurities and prejudices. It's got a main character who has everyone around her trying to make her be what she's not, and a lot of people thinking that just her existing is evil. It's got a love interest that's considered dangerous. She's got a fantastically lovable animal familiar, and then also changing expectations about what the right way to save the world is. It is absolutely one of my favorite series and would be a good one for a future book club episode.
I am excited by that. I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, that's going to go on the list for sure. I'll throw in a couple and then we'll jump back to you, Marshall, if you have more, because I'm pretty certain you do. But I will say that I had a hard time with this. Rock and Rule, I already mentioned. I would also mention currently on Netflix, Gentry Chow versus the Underworld has a very similar vibe. No music, but people who are demons who you fall in love with and teenagers and keeping things from your parents and all of that great stuff. Gentry Chow versus the Underworld. It's a whole season worth of cartoons, so I would definitely recommend that. After that, I would say that if you were going to go for something with a group of women who were fighting demons, but you didn't want to do Korean or singing, you could do Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark, because they're basically undercover women superheroes who fight racist demons. And it's all very cultural. There's a lot of deeply cultural imagery, but it is also amazing. It's a little more horror-oriented, but I would say Ring Shout would be a great place if you wanted to pick up a book like that. I would probably also say The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. Again, that's more Korean, but not so much the chosen one part. I found that one to be a really great, kind of modern, but with ancient Korean myths involved. There's a fox trickster who kills some people and she's covering up a crime, but she falls in love with the police officer, the mystical police officer who's sent to discover who's making the crimes, and they fall in love in the thing, and the gods in heaven get involved. And that was only the first book, and there's a second book coming out. I won't spoil the end of the first one, but there is a second book coming out with both of those characters, and I'm looking forward to that one. Gentry Chow, P. Jelly Clark's Ring Shout, and Rock and Rule. Marshall, do you want to wrap us up on some of these inspirational media?
Sure. So I'm going to go with other things that have music at the center of them. One, going way back, is Alan Dean Foster's Spell Singer series. The series has not aged well. I fully acknowledge that. It is definitely a product of its time, but it was just a fantastic concept, and the way that they incorporated songs for him to do his magic was really clever. More recent is the recent movie starring Sadie Sink, Odessa. It does not have demons. It is instead post-apocalyptic. There's a city where everybody is really beaten down, and there's a lot of the conspicuous consumption and the worship of pop stars and that sort of thing. And Odessa herself is this singer who comes to town, and she's not part of the system. She doesn't play by rules, but she's so amazingly talented that she ends up making a name for herself anyway. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a great movie.
Wait, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
What's your guys' favorite song from the soundtrack?
Oh, this is highly
It's
debatable.
very hard and it changes
God.
for me, but
Go ahead, Marshall. I'll let you go first.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You're so
Yeah.
generous.
I am generous, yes.
I think I got to go with How It's Done. The song when they're on the plane.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. It has such really great energy. I love
It's
it.
a great way to introduce the entire movie. It is really just amazing. Just an amazing theatrical way of using the song to get that all in. It makes it really very musical oriented. It tells a story. It does a great job.
Agreed.
Karen, go.
Well, I mean, it changes up depending on my mood because I've listened to the soundtrack 1,000 times, and I am not a musical person, but as you said, these are all bangers. I think right now I really like what it sounds like. It's just that part of the movie is so amazing and heartfelt and makes me cry, and it's wonderful.
And there's like a costume change in the middle.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing I would steal. Like you cast a magic spell and everybody gets themed outfits.
Yes.
That is
On board.
What could be better than that? Yeah, if I cast a 7th level spell, we should all get cool outfits.
1000%.
I mean, that's obvious. That's no matter what we do, that should always be there. I've actually done nothing for the last 3 weeks but watch reactions to all of these songs. So they're all in my head somewhere. But I think I find myself singing Golden way more. I'm going to put in for my beloved spouse that your idol is musically this insanely complex and wonderful thing and her general favorite, and that is basically how our household breaks out. It's like she's the one who likes your idol and I'm the one who likes Golden, and that is how that works. No, that's where her vote would be. So 1 vote for Golden and 1 vote for your idol.
Awesome.
Does anybody want to plug anything K-pop Demon Hunter oriented?
Have you seen the video where they explain about the derpy tiger and the magpie, what they are?
I have not.
I've seen like 5 of them. So it is a particular type of art that was very popular in Korea, in which it featured a derpy tiger and a magpie every time. And the derpy tiger is supposed to represent the clueless nobility and bureaucrats and whatnot have all the authority. That's why they're a tiger, but they have no idea what they're doing, which is why they're derpy. And then the magpie are the common people who have all the common sense. It's a very much a strong Korean thing. There's also the fantastic line in the movie of, where did the hat come from? I made the hat for the tiger, but the magpie keeps stealing it. And the hat represents authority. So it's actually this incredibly deep little throwaway line. It's fantastic.
I did not know that. In the spirit of teaching us more about Korean culture, I'm going to recommend, there's a channel called Talk to Me in Korean. And the person who does that YouTube channel did K-pop Demon Hunters Explained, and then a more detailed explanation of K-pop Demon Hunters, where he translates all of the Korean.
Ooh.
If you want to know what the Saja boys are saying, like when they break into Korean and you're not someone who's normally proficient in Korean, both of those are, like they go in and say like, oh, Saja actually means lion.
Yes.
But also if you change the way the word is said, if you pronounce it slightly differently, it means emissary, which is commonly known as a demon. So like Saja means both lion and kind of demon, depending upon how you pronounce it. And I was like, what? I mean, clearly they were doing that visually with like the lion that turns and has little horns and all that stuff. That was great. But he goes into, between those 2 videos, if you don't understand Korean and you want to know what they're singing, Talk to Me in Korean. I'll put the links with the show so that everybody can go watch that, so you can now know what everybody's saying. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Awesome. And I would say for everybody that's like, ugh, I don't like cartoons, I don't like musicals, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I don't like musicals either, but this slaps and it is fantastic. And I've watched it way too many times for the age of adult I am. Also stuck up on Korean food and snacks while you're watching it because it will make you hungry.
Yes, absolutely. There's a bunch of delicious looking stuff.
Oh, so good.
I'll throw in one more thing. I haven't actually seen it, but I do know there are drawings of it. There's supposed to be a scene where Jinu and Rumi kiss in an aquarium.
Yes, it got
Like
cut.
they meet at an aquarium and it got cut.
Yeah.
So if you're desperate for more content, there's some out there, K-pop Demon Hunter fans, and go see the aquarium scene. And that's our special summer blockbuster edition of the Game Masters Movie Club, featuring the animated hit K-pop Demon Hunter. You can find a complete transcript of today's discussion, as well as links to all of our podcasts at k-squareproductions.com/GMBC. You can learn about upcoming episodes on our social media on Blue Sky at gmbookclub.bluesky.social, on Facebook at Game Masters Book Club, and on Instagram at Game Masters Book Club. You've been listening to the Game Masters Book Club, brought to you by me, Eric Jackson, and K-Square Productions. Golden thanks to Karen Form and Marshall Smith, our pop star Game Masters, as well as contributing Game Masters Colleen Knocktreve, Rob Tremarco, and all the Game Masters on the GMBC Discord. Continued praise and thanks to John Corbett for the podcast artwork and Otis Galloway for our music. Later, gamers, and to paraphrase the great Terry Pratchett, always try to be the place where the falling angel meets the rising ape.